This is the future.
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Warframe video. So, quick update about the recent giveaway before we start this video, but if you are just here for the main content, then I highly suggest that you skip ahead. The winner of the Gauss Prime giveaway just received his prize, and I'm so happy that it only took a day for Digital Extremes to deliver the prize to our giveaway winner. Congratulations again to the guy who has won the Gauss Prime giveaway. Be sure to join our Discord server as I will be hosting more giveaways soon. The link to our server is in the video description below if you would like to join. Why did the giveaway on Discord now? Well, it's easier compared to the Gleam.io giveaway I was doing in the past. It's convenient also since players are part of the server and I can message them fast to notify them that they have won the giveaway. It's also convenient compared to the previous giveaway setup that requires an email address to contact the winner. There are cases wherein I redo the giveaway because the first winner isn't responding to my email and the deadline for the giveaway is closing in. Discord is the best method to do a giveaway as I can ensure that the winner will receive their prizes as soon as possible. Aside from Platinum and Prime Access, I will be hosting Riven giveaways starting next week. Our topic for today is about Slash Damage falling out of its throne from being the one true meta king in Warframe. For new players, Slash Damage is one of the 3 physical damage types. It is effective against all forms of flesh, but it's less effective against Griner Ferret Armor and Corpus Robotics. The status effect of Slash Damage is Bleed, and it applies a damage over time effect after a 1-second delay, dealing a tick of damage each second for 6 seconds. Several changes made Slash extremely overpowered, and it has become the only damage type that most Warframe players are using in the game. This was before the changes to Viral and other elements, and this was the time when Ash was god tier and endgame levels. Back then, enemies were extremely tanky because they had insane scaling in armor and shield, but with Ash, you can strip their armor and leave them vulnerable to Slash and Bleed, making the Warframe one of the most powerful when it comes to level cap endurance. Without Ash though, Slash was very strong even back then since the Bleed procs doesn't just bypass enemy armor, but it also bypasses shield. Although it's not strong against damage mitigation such as Griner armor, still, the damage over time of Bleed proc shred the health of enemies directly, and this was the time when heavy attack Nikana builds were so famous with stealth Warframes and you could one-shot level cap enemies with one heavy attack blow. Then, Digital Extremes decided to shake the meta by changing the other damage types, adding defense stripping ability, and the Helminth system which made Ash obsolete instantly. The meta became Slash and Viral, and this was the birth of the million Slash damage. Viral does increase the damage you deal on health, which makes the Bleed proc of Slash damage absurd. Not to mention that we also had things like the Unairu focus, Hildren's pillage ability in the Helminth system, and many more that can strip both armor and shield of enemies. Instead of creating a new meta, Slash became stronger since it's now supported with a health damage bonus coming from Viral. Most players will build for Viral and Slash damage exclusively, and then use defense stripping abilities like Pillage to massacre almost everything in the game. Once you unlock the Helminth system at Mastery rank 8 after completing the Heart of Deimos quest, increasing the standings to at least Associate rank, and purchasing the segment, you can then just feed Hildrine into the Helminth system to get the defense strip and just mod for pure Viral in your build paired with critical damage and multi-shot to progress throughout all the missions in Warframe except for boss fights. Of course, that requires radiation damage to effectively damage the boss. I am not saying that it's that easy to achieve this feat, however, because it would cost a lot of platinum and time to get all the stuff needed for the Helminth system. But for those who have the money to buy platinum, then it would be less grind and Warframe would feel like it's a pay to win the game. That is why when Digital Extremes offered a feature that allows you to skip story quests with platinum, many opposed things like this would happen. All you needed was platinum to unlock mostly everything in the game, and if you knew what to buy in the market, then progression would be so easy for new players. I'm not against easy gameplay, as platinum can also be farmed through prime parts selling in early levels of the game, but that would also take some time since most prime parts that you will get sell for about 1 to 5 platinum each, while things you need cost around 200 or more platinum in the market. For new players, the easiest route is just to spend real money, and this is why many did not agree with Rebecca when she suggested that type of feature in the game during one of their dev streams. Many in the chat stopped the suggested feature before it even materialized in the game because it felt like Digital Extremes was about to add another percentage of the pay-to-win feature in the game. Do take note that some of the weapons and Warframes that are decent for progression are available in the in-game market, and all you needed to do is buy the mods from other players through through warframe.market or the in-game chat. After that, buy some Forma with Platinum, and all you need is to just level up your Warframe and weapon to beat all the levels in the game. For a new player with money, all he or she needs is the knowledge on what to buy first and having the story skip feature so you can access the next content is just wrong in my opinion. Getting back to the topic, Viral and Slash became dominant for quite some time, and it was one of the best combos for Steel Path and Beyond missions in the game. However, the addition of defense stripping wasn't just intended to make the meta strong, but if you see the other side of the coin, then you will realize that you can use other element combos in your build to have fun in Warframe. Most of the meta boys in Warframe are having fun with their one build to rule them all setup, while others are having fun stripping defenses and using combinations such as Viral and Heat, Viral and Gas, or even Viral and Blast. Slash was not part of the meta anymore, but Viral remains very potent, especially when Grendel was reworked and made his Nourish ability one of the best in slot for Helminth builds. With the Nourish ability of Grendel that you can subsume to your favorite Warframe, you now have insane energy recovery even if you are just picking up energy orbs, and you also get 100% Viral procs for your weapons. All you need now is defense stripping, which you can achieve with the Uneru focus abilities called Caustic Strike for stripping armor and Magnetic Flare for stripping shields. For Steel Path survivals, you can use Magus Anomaly from your Operator Arcane to group enemies within 30 meters and strip multiple enemies' defenses before killing them with your Viral weapon. Honestly, Viral is more meta right now compared to Slash, and in fact I enjoy playing multiple elements in my builds right now instead of using the stale Viral and Slash meta. Let's take for example when I'm using my Revenant Prime. This is the meta Warframe in the game because players simply just don't want to die. With his Mesmer skin, you will be invulnerable from any attacks by the enemies except for magnetic procs that will disable the Mesmer skin ability. This also provides status immunity that negates pesky effects such as knockdowns or damage over time procs such as Toxin and Heat. It's the best survivability in the game, and Revenant is the true immortal in Warframe because of this. For me, Revenant's 4th ability is the best spot for Helminth builds, and I can add Viral on this slot for energy maintenance and the Viral procs. After this, I just pair this with any weapons that I love, such as the Incarnatoid and the Melee Jakuzar. Guns are fun to use right now with multiple element setups because of the Galvanized status mod that increases your damage output for each status that enemies have. We have the Dirige Sentinel right now that procs multiple statuses to enemies, increasing the overall effectiveness of the Galvanized Aptitude mod. With the recent pet rework, companions are unkillable. If they get downed, then you can easily revive them by performing tasks like killing Eximus units to decrease the time they are down. Without Dirige, I can still get massive damage output to enemies using the combination of corrosive, radiation, and viral coming from the Nourish ability. Just a quick reminder though, Galvanized status mods don't work on area of effect weapons. This was implemented by Digital Extremes to combat the nuke meta, and I think they have succeeded doing this, especially that they also lower the ammunition economy of nuke weapons. Now, I don't know if you noticed this, but most of the enemies in the game wherein you either farm for important things you need or fight against mini bosses, and bosses in the game require you to go with radiation damage. In fact, most of the enemies in the new Murmur factions are weak against radiation, and I won't be surprised if Digital Extremes adds more factions in the game in the future that are weak against radiation damage. Unless, of course, they will be focusing on infested enemy variants. Not only that, this provides good damage output against Steel Path enemies, but with Incarnate form of Torrid, I can spread radiation to multiple enemies which crowd control them with the Element's Confusion mechanic. This is a great build overall for clearing mobs in Steel Path levels, but when going up against special units with Overguard, stripping their defenses and using the normal form of the Torrid hits harder because of the additional perks that this weapon has with the Incarnate form. The radiation and corrosive damage won't be effective though against the health of enemies, but it will get added to the damage in the Galvanized status mode. Normally, this setup is very effective until Netracell levels in the game, and that is the highest possible level that you can encounter if you don't want to go more than 300 plus levels of enemies. I also love using my trusty Latum with the combination of heat, corrosive, radiation, and viral from Nourish ability. This thing shreds beyond Steel Path enemies because even if you strip their armor and shield, the damage over time of heat is very effective. In addition, with the multiple elements that this weapon has, plus the insane damage buff from both Cascadia Flare and Devouring Attrition perk of this Incarnate pistol, enemy health will melt like it's hot butter. There's another setup that I love using in Steel Path endurance runs, and that is the combination of defense stripping, grouping mechanics from Helminth abilities, and gas damage in my weapon. With any Warframe, I can subsume and snare and build it for high range. Then, I just use the Uneru focus to strip their defenses, and lastly, I use gas element weapons such as Torrid with its normal shot to completely obliterate those enemies grouped by ensnare. Lastly, melee weapons are great for multiple elements with condition overload setup right now. Let's take, for example, Jakuzar that has innate heat element. With melee exposure, I can have guaranteed corrosive procs to my melee weapons after activating activating a Warframe ability. Then I can always have Nourish that grants Viral. This allows me to mind max the build of my Jack Kassar to give it red crit numbers, along with enough status chance to proc the elements I have every time. In addition, this means I don't have to sacrifice any Warframe Arcane slot to use Arcane Strike for melee attack speed. And then I can extend the duration of my combo count or keep the 12 times combo multiplier with a combo duration, or I can just use Dexterity Arcanes in my guns to help with the combo duration, and then add more damage and red crit to this setup with a Gladiator mod. Indeed, Viral and Slash combination is still relevant, but I like the current state of Warframe right now that you can experiment on different elemental builds compared to the past and we only focused on one build alone. I hope in the future the developer will add more mods like the Radiation mod we got from the Whispers in the Walls update that doesn't combine with other elements. This will give more build variety to the game, and so far I'm enjoying the current state of Warframe when it comes to creating insane builds to beat this horde shooter game. There are tons of weapon and Warframe build variations that you can use right now with multiple element builds, and I have just shown you the tip of the iceberg on what else you can do in Warframe. This is why I keep coming back to Warframe, as it's great to use powerful builds that can display millions or even billions of numbers on your screen, and the best part is the game is constantly changing as developers are shaking the meta, and then we got to experience a new way to play the game. So that's all about it. I hope that you have learned something new from this video. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you again in my next guide. Squad Leader signing off.
This is the future.